get my shoes and out the door. 5, I'm alive. 6, 7, 8, feeling great.
Hello and welcome back to Beyond Your Wildest Dreams podcast. My name is Dr. Noah DeCoyer and I am your co-host. Today our guest is my longtime friend, Dr. Jeff Spencer. Dr. Jeff is known as the Corner Man. He has been a leader in the high-performance field for over 40 years. Using his goal achievement roadmap, he has helped athletes win gold medals, rock stars go platinum, businessmen make their next $1 million, and thought leaders move to the next level. Dr. Jeff is a true Renaissance man. As a member of the 1972 United States Olympic cycling team, has a master's degree in sports science from USC, was a team doctor for 9 Tour de France teams, and has shown his glass sculptures throughout the United States. You can find Dr. Jeff at www.drjeffspencer.com. How you doing today, Jeff?
Well, Noah, thank you. Always a pleasure. Great to hear your voice.
It's my pleasure. I've had the absolute pleasure and honor of knowing you for the last 5 or 6 years, and it's only enriched my life that much more.
Well, thank you for the amazing compliment, and I look forward to kind of deepening and strengthening a relationship with our call today.
You got it. So, as with the first question from most guests, Jeff, is a little bit of your backstory. I think people need to know where you came from and how you became Dr. Jeff Spencer, chiropractor, coach, mentor, corner man for all the rock stars out there.
Well, when I was 7 years old, I wanted to become an Olympian. I just thought that'd be the coolest thing ever, just to march into the stadium on the opening day ceremony. And I studied everything I could find about the Olympics. And then I decided when I was 11 that I was going to do it by becoming an Olympic cyclist. And so I began my cycling career there, competing even at that age. And when I was 13, my dad kind of left the family the last time I saw him, and I found out later that he died homeless on the streets of New York City 30 years later as a genius. So I realized that becoming a genius isn't your ticket to living a life of contribution and living well. And I knew that technique and the technology wouldn't save us either, because he had plenty of all of that. And so the silver lining to that very difficult and challenging period is that I had really good mentors that came from all walks of life. They came from sports, science, performing arts, business, and they shared with me their secrets on how they became iconic. And I applied those to my own life, and I actually did become an Olympian because of that. And I did go to a prestigious university where I got my master's degree in sports science. So I learned a couple of important things. I learned how to get to the top being an Olympian, and it's not what people think it is. And I also learned through my master's degree that to become successful, you need to have a body that can push and push hard, at times superhuman hard, and you need to be able to have the health to stay in the game long enough to create a legacy that you're capable of. And so a lot of people came to me kind of requesting guidance to become their own champions in their discipline. It wasn't about sports. It wasn't about business. It was about them and how they made decisions and how they showed up and how they interpreted circumstances to make the right choices to advance things towards goal completion. And people also asked me about health and longevity, which is an important criteria. If you blow yourself up from ill health midstream, then you've really effectively not been able to live a life of contribution that you're capable of. And to me, towards the end in your second half is where you finally have the wisdom to really make your most significant contributions and goals achieved. So I went back to chiropractic school to really learn the specialty of getting well and staying well. And so with that, I had kind of a three-pronged approach to be a universal person that could look at the entirety of everything that had to happen to become and achieve your loftiest goal on a repetitive basis. So rather than just be an expert in one particular area, of which is important, I became an expert in the whole, where I can look at a person and where they are and whether they're in a situation where everything has to go right, there are no options and everything's on the line, or whether it's I want to go for more and it's a high stakes game where I'm starting to lose ground and backsliding. I could figure out of the millions of options and choices, I could figure out the one thing that had to go right for them to be able to move forward. And so that's how I kind of got the moniker the corner man, because I could digest that one single thing that had to go right to move the ball down the field to punch it into the end zone. And so that was really how I got from where I was at 7 here, almost 60 years later.
Now, you kind of answered my second question, but I'm going to ask it anyway to see if you have anything to add. I've seen you speak at a group of high-achieving chiropractors. We've seen you speak at the Consumer Health Summit, speaking to health leaders and entrepreneurs, and I've seen you speak to my local community. What makes you perfectly qualified to present to such a wide variety of groups of people?
When we look at creating predictable, repetitive success, it's really a skill that has to be learned first, that then can be applied to any specific discipline. So whether it's business, whether it's sports, there are certainly technical issues that are different, like what ink cartridge to use and how much to inflate the football. But beyond that, repetitive success is really a learned skill and a learned behavior. And having been an Olympian, I know what it takes to get to the top. And having a master's degree, I understand the body requirement to stay in the game and know when and how to push. And with my experience in healthcare, I know how to maintain the health necessary to create a long and prosperous life and legacy. So with those three things, I found myself in the presence of some of the most prolific achievers of our time. U2, Maria Sharapova, I've been on Richard Branson's Island, Lance Armstrong. So I've seen really the good, the bad, and the ugly on, what it takes to get to the top, but more importantly, stay there. So really, my history has been in that space for the last 50 years. So I really kind of earned my stripes living in the bowels of the high performance world, being an advisor to people that play at that altitude. And from them, I was able to derive a system actually that is predictable, that anybody can follow to learn to master the craft of goal achievement.
One of my favorite quotes that I can attribute to you is, do the homework and the test is easy. And this is something that I've been trying to beat into the head of my two sons. Anything to say about that?
Yeah, well, you're absolutely right. Actually, the champion's golden rule is you do the homework and the test is easy, meaning that your preparation really is the most important part. Because if you're prepared, meaning that you've chosen the right goal for the right reasons and you're prepared to responsibly begin pursuing that goal, then that's the way you want to start goal pursuit. And most people don't prepare well. They just show up and try to make it up, and predictably they stall when they may actually have a good plan and they may actually deserve to win. But because they're not organized and they don't have enough resources, maybe they don't have the mindset, maybe they don't understand their why, maybe their goal is maybe a wish and a vision or a dream, but it's not really a goal. I mean, all of these things have got to be sifted through first to make sure that we have the proper level of preparation to responsibly pursue our goal. And so when we are prepared, then the pursuit allows us to achieve the goal most often on the first try with the least time and the least effort, which of course is desirable because then you could just jumpstart and go for another goal more quickly. So I couldn't have said it better. The homework and the test is easy is always the moniker of those people that are repeatedly successful.
Jeff, I believe everybody needs a coach and everybody needs to be held accountable. You have a little bit of a different moniker and a little different take. You call that person and you call yourself a corner man. Can you give our audience the difference between what a corner man is as opposed to a coach?
A coach is a specialist in one particular area. For example, in football, you've got a line coach, you've got a quarterback coach, you've got a receiver coach. In business, you may have a presentation coach, you may have a coach with regard to computer software or IP technology. So they're a specialist in one singular area, and they really don't know the rest of a person's universe. So the idea is that I can certainly help you with one slice of the pie here, but I don't know about the rest of your life, so I hope that goes okay so that you can actually take what I've taught you and put it to good use. It's the same thing with a mentor. There may be a little bit more bandwidth, a little bit more experience, but it's usually to one specific area. Maybe it's a health mentor, maybe it's a financial mentor, But then you have an older person that's been around the block. They've been successful in many areas. They've helped people in many areas become successful. And they can look at the entirety of a person's universe and solar system and really look at all the components that make that up. And they can see where ties are that need to be strengthened. They can see where there are connections that need to be loosened. They can see where there's redundancy that needs to be removed. They can see gaps that need to be filled in so that there's an appropriate use of time and effort to be able to get to the goal as quickly as possible. And if you look at the movie Rocky, Rocky had the older guy in his corner, Mickey, and between rounds, when Rocky sat down, Mickey would just say, okay, Rock, here's the deal. Based on that round, this is what he got to do to win the next round. So like in real time, he was able to digest the entire scope of circumstances that needed to be addressed correctly with the one thing that had to go right for Rocky to win the next round. And that's really the skill that I've developed because of my wide breadth of experience and academic learning. And that's why people have kind of referred to me as the corner man, because there's nothing I can't figure out. There's no subject that we cannot discuss in consideration of all the things that are also in need of being considered to be able to achieve the goals in the shortest, in the least time with the least effort.
People love stories. How about an example or two of you being a corner man with, and you don't have to use specific names, with some of these really elite performers that you've coached and were their corner man?
I got a call in the 2012 Olympics from the Olympic Stadium, actually the Olympic Village, with 2.5 weeks to go before the long jump final. And the request was, can I help the athlete who's favored to win the gold medal, who's currently leading the world championship, because he's starting to mentally melt down? Can I jump in and save the day? Because he's not going to win based upon his headspace and where he's headed. And so I jumped in and I kind of analyzed the situation, and we had this 2-hour conversation. And at the end of the call, I said, well, this is not that difficult. I mean, if you had to jump tonight, you win physically, but the problem is that you're mentally disconnected from this. And the problem is that you and everybody on your team, your coach, your chiropractor, your equipment guy, your doctor, everybody thinks that to win the gold medal, you have to account for and be prepared for every detail. And if you're not prepared and haven't considered every detail, then you can't put in the jump that's required to win the gold medal. And I said, that's ridiculous. Because in your own mind, you've already lost, because there's always going to be some detail that you conjure up in your mind that it doesn't exist, that you're going to empower with the ability and the capability and the requirement for you to win. So you've already lost. I said, it's not about perfection. It's about the 1 or 2 details that have to go right. I'm a one thing sort of guy. I'm about, let's do the one thing that creates the 99% that has to go right to move the ball into the end zone. I said, you do 2 things and you win. You don't try to chase perfection. First thing is, you don't change your warm-up. You're screwing around with your warm-up. Go back to what you did, because then your body's going to want to come out and perform well for you. It's scared right now because you're changing things. And I said the other thing is just the speed at which you approach your run-up to your foot hitting the board to get the lift to win. It's all about the first 4 steps. It's not about your foot hitting the board. If you don't have the right speed, you don't have the right first 4 steps, then you're not going to win. So just, do those 2 simple things that are for free, because you already know what to do, and don't try to do anything else and let those things win the gold medal for you. And that's what he did. He won the gold medal. And then he became a hero. He's had a great 4 years since that time. So that's a perfect example of misinterpreting, the circumstances, which is, pretty classic that people do, especially when everything's on the line. Another situation was, literally a $500 million business deal that was on the line. And before the client went in to have this discussion to ink the deal, they called me up from the hallway, and they offered a couple of details about the circumstances that they had been made aware of that needed to be considered to find the right words to be able to seal the deal. So I told him right there that you need to lead with these 2 words in your conversation. That's all you need to think about when you say hello and exchange cordialities. Say these 2 words, and then the thought will roll off your tongue, and what you say will be exactly what the partner to be needs to hear from you to gain the confidence in your ability to deliver, for you guys to form a partnership and for you to, put $500 million, into your pocket. And that's what he did. We talked 30 minutes later, sealed the deal. So it's really about knowing how to take all of the circumstances that are currently present and identify the one thing that has to go right. Of all the millions of things that could go right, you need to identify the one thing that has to go right. And that's what I do really, really well for my clients. And that's also what I teach other people to do for themselves.
Right. I'm assuming this doesn't have to be an Olympic athlete or a multi-billion-dollar deal. This goes for and is consistent for anybody on the planet today, correct?
Oh yeah, yeah. If you want to bake a cake, if you want to bake a cake and have it turn out perfect the first time, then you follow my model, which is the goal achievement roadmap. If you want to successfully drive to the theater, then you can follow the map as well. It's really a universal goal achievement roadmap that shows you step by step what to do. There are 10 steps that history has shown us that all the prolific performers universally go through in a progression to develop the capacity to be able to achieve their biggest goals, mostly on the first try in the least time with least effort. Yep, no guessing. There's a system there. Most people don't have a system. Most people think all I need to do is want it bad enough or think good thoughts, and all of a sudden, if I try hard enough, I'll close the gap between where I am and where I want to go. That's the way most people approach goal achievement. And that sounds like it should work, but it doesn't work and it doesn't deliver. And that's because there is no deliberate preparation. There is no way of confirming that it's the right goal. There is no way of knowing the one thing that has to go right at any point in the journey to be confident in the decision making and the use of resources to be able to get there. And I personally got a problem with that because I'm not a big fan of having 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 different failures to achieve a goal. And I can tell you that had my dad had my model, there's no way that he would have died homeless on the New York streets of New York City, that he would have been able to manifest his genius and everybody could have gotten the benefit of being able to experience what that genius was.
I'm certain of that. So you brought it up, you brought up 10 steps. How deep can we go into this goal achievement map today on our podcast?
Well, why don't we do this? Why don't we just take a quick lap through it and we'll see if there's any extra time. So the first thing to go back to is the Champion's Golden Rule. You do the homework and the test is easy. So the goal achievement model is made up of 2 distinct divisions. And division 1 is called preparation. And division 1 has got 5 steps in it that allow you to properly prepare. And so once you're prepared, then you move into division number 2, which is performance. And it has 5 steps that are necessary to execute your plan to be able to achieve your goal on the first try. So let's go through the 5 steps that make up division number 1,
Sure.
Preparation. So the first step is clarity. We need to make sure that we're really clear on our goal, because when we're really clear on what our goal is by following specific criteria to distinguish it from a dream, a vision, or a wish, then what that does, it gives us an amazing amount of focus that allows us to be able to stay on task, to be able to execute our plan consistently and progressively. And that's why defining the clarity of our goal is absolutely essential. And that's why it's the first step. The second step is motive. And the question is, why are we doing this? Because when we understand our motive, then that motive gives us an incredible drive, which is essential to be able to continue to pursue the goal even in difficult times. And generally, goals that are worthwhile, there are some challenging moments. And when we derive the correct amount of drive, because we're clear about our motive, then we're able to penetrate through those barriers that would otherwise take us out of the game. Step number 3 is impact. And impact is important, the impact of our goal achieved on people, places, things, ourselves, the natural universe. It's really important that we take a look at that first to make sure it's in line with what we want. Because when the impact of our goal achieved is in line with what we want, it gives us purpose. It gives us a reason to get up that's bigger than ourselves. And to be able to manifest larger goals, it's essential that we have a goal that we're committed to and that we are have purpose behind that allows us to get up every day and put in a full day's work towards achieving that goal. Step number 4 in preparation is mindset. And when I talk about mindset, I'm not talking about positive thinking or affirmations. I'm talking about, do we understand the battle within us between that part of us that wants to succeed and contribute, our champion's nature, and then the other side of our human nature, which is that part of us that wants to talk us out of everything good. That's that fear part that doesn't want to risk anything or try anything new. There's a battle. And do we have the mindset to overcome that battle every day en route to achieving our goal? And to also ask ourselves, do we really understand the challenges that we're going to face en route to achieving our goal? And every prolific achiever always does an analysis of, okay, so if this is what I want to do, what are the real challenges I'm going to face? And can I actually face those, yes or no? And of course, the mindset that can answer yes to both of those creates the most important attribute that a person can have, and the rarest of all attributes, which is courage. So the proper mindset gives us courage. And then we have our final step, step number 5 here in division number 1. Preparation, which is resources. We need to make sure that we have the knowledge and we have the skills and we have the tangible resources like time, space, financing, team, equipment, etc., to then responsibly trust our preparation and know that we've chosen the right goal and know that we prepared well to responsibly start pursuing our goal in division number 2. So let's take a look at division number 2 here.
Sure.
And division number 2 has 5 steps again. And this will be step number 7, the first step in performance. And this is called start. And step number 6 is start. And this is where we have to have a very specific starting procedure where we go from the garage, where the station wagon pulls out of the garage, onto the street and then starts the journey. There has to be a very specific starting procedure that gains a certain level of liftoff that confirms to the team and us that the process of a goal achievement has actually happened. So, for example, the space shuttle, once it powers up on the launching pad, it needs to get to a certain height to know that the mission is underway. And so we need that with each and every one of our goals. We have to have a start procedure that's well rehearsed that allows us to get that initial liftoff momentum. And then at that point, we move into step number 7, which is called the honeymoon. And the honeymoon is we're all excited. We have all this enthusiasm. We see our life once we get to our goal achieved. But then all of a sudden, the honeymoon starts to wear off and we lose motivation. Well, you should, because every honeymoon wears off eventually. And if we're aspiring to a goal, well, our ambitions are going to soften up a little bit as well. But we want to make sure that we understand that when our motivation drops a little bit, it's a sign of progress. It's not a sign that we can't do it, or it's the wrong goal, or we're not capable of achieving it. So in the honeymoon phase, it wears off. We need to conserve our resources. We need to have that reality check that forces us to have to look at the reality that our goal may be a little bit harder to achieve than we originally thought, but now we see it for what it really is. All we need to do is recommit to it. So once we've had the reality check, we recommit to it, then we move into step number 8, which is the second step in Division 2 performance, and this is called the daily grind. I think we've all been pursuing goals where we ask ourselves, why am I doing this? I mean, all this time and effort, and I'm not getting anything back from this, anything close to the amount of time and effort that I'm putting into this. As a matter of fact, I'm tired of this. Maybe I should quit while I'm ahead. Well, that's what the daily grind is all about. And this is where you do get to that place where you don't believe that your time and effort are gaining the benefits that they merit from the effort and time we put into it. But really, this is the time where we're serving our apprenticeship, and we're building critical mass, we're building our skills, we're developing the grit necessary to be able to achieve our goal. And so if a person's going to quit, this is where they're going to quit. But what happens is that in the daily grind, and when I was becoming Olympian, my daily grind was like 9 years. For a simple process like baking a cake, it may be 30 minutes. The point is, there is going to be a place where we're building critical mass and the cake isn't out of the oven yet, so we're really not quite sure whether or not we're actually going to complete or achieve our goal. But here's what I do know is that when we get to that place in a goal achievement aspiration where our motivation drops, it's where we're unhappy, we're frustrated because we're not making enough progress. If you just hang in the game and you continue to work your plan, if it's been vetted as being appropriate and you're on track, eventually one day you're going to get up different. And I call that knowing. So during the daily grind, you hang in there, you put one foot in front of the other, and all of a sudden you get up one day different, and you know you're going to be able to achieve your goal. And then that begins step number 9. We got 2 steps to go here. And in step number 9, that's called upgrade. And so when we get up after the day that we had that knowing, all of a sudden life looks different to us. And so maybe our team needs to be revised upward. Maybe our equipment needs to be revised upward. This is where we upgrade everything about our life so it's consistent with our new upgraded mindset and our knowing. And we need that to be able to then pursue an outcome or a performance that's consistent with achieving our goal. And that's called a breakout. So once you've upgraded your entire life to the level that needs to be there to achieve your goal, you will have a breakout performance that confirms to you that you actually will achieve your goal. There's only one final step, and that's called refine. And that's goal number 10. And refine is where we have proven that we can achieve our goal through some demonstration of performance. And at that point, all we need to do is do iterations of improvement to that level of performance. Then all of a sudden, we're going to go to a point where our goal emerges. So those are the 10 steps. That's what every repeat success has ever followed, whether it's instinctively or by design. And that's the model that I teach people so they become a prolific repeat achiever of the goals that they're capable of achieving.
They're applying this to each individual goal or their goals and their objectives as a whole?
It is to whatever goal you decide that you want to achieve, whatever that is. If it's to become an Olympian, if it's to bake a cake, it can be applied towards a business. It can be applied towards your life. It's actually a universal roadmap that can be applied to any goal. I mean, you may have sub-goals within a goal, but those sub-goals are also subject to that if you choose to do that.
Starting with 1 and traversing all the way through 10, correct?
Absolutely right. Anybody that gets out of order, the equivalent of getting out of order or eliminating a step, that's like leaving a suitcase at the hotel. It may not hurt you to your next destination, but maybe 3 destinations later, you're going to need what you left at the hotel. And it may actually hurt you. And that's the reason why these should be done in succession, because nothing is more tragic than to see somebody that deserves to succeed, choke and stall at the very last minute just before they achieve their goal because they didn't do something early in the preparation and they made the assumption that they were prepared. So what the goal achievement roadmap does, it's actually a true serum, and it's an accountability partner for you and anybody that follows the model, because it will not let you get away with things that you may not do that could hurt you later. It's your accountability partner.
I wrote this all down. I'll probably listen to this several times. Is there anywhere on your site where this is kind of outlined in a poster or anything like that, or not yet?
It will be coming, and I'm currently doing workshops, and those people that are interested in the goal achievement workshops, they're 2-day workshops. They are so unbelievably awesome because what we do on the first day, we're in the locker room where we go through the academics of the 10 steps, and then what we do on the second day, we actually go live and we actually pursue a goal with the partner, and we actually work the process itself. So you leave there exactly knowing exactly what to do, and you take your own personalized goal achievement roadmap home with you. So if people are interested, they can just reach out at www.drjeffspencer.com. And there's information on the upcoming workshops. And down the line, there will be an online program probably within the next couple of months. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, that sounds great. Now, this is my final question. Where does this roadmap fit into the bigger picture of the Champions Blueprint?
Great question. Well, actually, kind of in my view, that the basic unit of the body is the cell. Without cells, you don't have a body. Well, the basic unit of living, in my view, is goal achievement. And if you have a model that you can follow to achieve your goals on the first try, then that's a starting point. And if you want to become like an achiever, you just need to use this model repetitively. And then after, half a dozen goals, and you're now an achiever. But if you want to get to the top of your game, then there's a higher level of goal achievement that incorporates the goal achievement roadmap. But there are some subtleties in this that are reserved for that higher level of goal achievement. And if you want to go from top to master the goal achievement process, then there's another level of sophistication. If you want to go from master to champion, then there's another level of ascension. It's kind of like a black belt in karate. You got to go up the different levels of black belt. And then the final level of goal achievement and performance is becoming a full potential player, where you're actually operating in every area of your life at the highest level, being able to achieve your goals in health, in family, in relationship, in recreation, simultaneously in every aspect of your life. So there are 6 different levels of ascension.
Beautiful. Jeff, it's an honor to call you a friend, and we truly appreciate your time. Any last words for our audience?
Yeah, you know what? There's always room at the top for the best. And I think that, there's only one of every one of us in all of creation. Nobody has our uniqueness, our unique recipe as an individual. And we need to not only trust our uniqueness, but it's really important that we have a model that we follow that will actually consistently allow us to achieve our biggest goals, to live well, and also leave a legacy that can show other people how it's done.
Thanks, Jeff. Well said. My name is Dr. Noah DeCoyer, your co-host, and you're listening to the Beyond Your Wildest Dreams podcast. If you like what you've heard today, please share this with your friends and family and encourage them to subscribe on iTunes. You can also sign up for our weekly email by clicking the links provided in the show notes on iTunes. Thank you, and as my oldest son Hayden says, be awesome and never unawesome.